It's a very cold start with temperatures mostly in the teens. I'll show you what it feels like with the wind chill and why we could see this pattern continuing for much of the week.
Looking out for icy spots. Some parts of our area still dealing with slick roads. What to watch out for before you get in the car today.
Plus, going remote. Most students here locally will be learning at home today. We'll talk a little bit about the factors behind that decision. But the big story this morning, road conditions. Yes, significant improvement, but there are still some trouble spots we're going to tell you about this morning as you're joining us here on WRAL News at our 6 o'clock hour. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Levingood.
And I'm Renee Chu. Here's the thing. Anything that is wet on the roads, it is frozen over right now because of the frigid temperatures. Let's get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Elizabeth, I did not want to get out of my car. I knew what was facing me.
Ooh, yeah. I tried to layer up as best that I could. Wearing a dress today and not pants. I actually just have some fleece pants that I just tucked in and I put my dress on over it, and that's how I rolled out this morning. There is an advisory out there. It is so cold. Our temperatures in the single digits and teens with wind chills in the single digits. So again, a lot of that makes for some freezing conditions on parking lots and in anything that's wet out there. The advisory is in effect until 10 a.m. And then we're going to be talking about the pattern for the weekend, which looks like it could bring us another round of wintry weather. This morning, your drive will be medium impact, watching out for icy patches, but temperatures climb above freezing this afternoon. And with sunshine, there should be even more improvement. The wind chill is on the right, so it feels like 9 in Rocky Mount, 11 in Durham and Raleigh, 10 in South Hill and in Fayetteville, and our temperatures widespread in the teens. We take a live look at Lewisburg right now, and this time yesterday, this road was covered in ice, and even the bridge over the Tar River looks clear right now. So you're just talking about a few patches of ice. Those can ruin your day, though, if you happen to run into one. 16 is our current temperature with a west wind at 3 miles per hour, so that's not too bad, but we'll continue to see breezy conditions through the afternoon. We, at lunchtime, barely climbed to 30 degrees, so the cold air is in place for a while. I'll show you the pattern that keeps the cold air locked in. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, 6:01, and because you might run into a few icy patches here and there, that's why we've dispatched the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roadways this morning, so you know what to expect exactly when you head out. Let's check in with Kelsey Coffey and the photographer Mark Alexic. You guys are in a neighborhood just off Six Forks Road.
Yes, Ken, we decided to just explore some neighborhoods, some apartment complex parking lots to see what those conditions looked like. And this is what we're seeing. So this is an apartment complex that's off of Six Forks Road. We've been talking about all morning long how the real concern here is parking lots, sidewalks, neighborhood roads, and just little side streets. So you can see how icy this road is. So I know that folks who are living in this apartment complex have to be extra careful if they're headed out this morning. If you see a site like this in your neighborhood, be sure to send us a picture or a video if it's safe to do so. Go to WRAL.com/report it. But Ken, in the meantime, what can you tell folks before they head out for their morning drive?
Yeah, it's so important to make sure you're giving yourself some extra time this morning. Leave the house a little sooner than usual just to be on the safe side. Right now, we're not seeing any delays on any of our major routes. You're coming in from Apex, you're coming in from Garner, Johnston County, Nightdale. All those districts are delay-free at this hour. But you're getting ready to head into the car. Traffic can change at any minute. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3. We'll keep you updated all morning long.
And I'm Laura Levine here in the WRAL Live Center this morning. Nearly 700 customers in South Durham right now waking up in the dark. They are without power. This is near Ed Cook Road and Ellis Road. If we click on the map here with Duke Energy, check this out. It says the estimated time of restoration, 8:30 this morning. They're still working to determine the cause here. So as soon as we know, we will let you know here in the Live Center. Let's take a broader look at the state right now. Only looking at a little over 4,000 outages statewide, a major improvement compared to this time yesterday. You can see Durham here topping the list here at top 3 areas looking at those outages right now. So we'll keep you updated on what we're seeing here in the WRAL Live Center.
Laura, thank you. A majority of the school districts across our area are switching to remote learning today. You can see they are shaded green on this map here. Now, Mecklenburg County, Virginia, and Wilson County schools, they are in red. They are closed today. WRAL's Heidi Kirk is in Raleigh to show us the reason behind all those school changes. Heidi, for Wake County schools, this is their first remote learning day in years.
Well, and Renee, from what we're seeing out here, there is definitely good reason for that. This is what some of the sidewalks look like across Wake County. In fact, I was telling my photographer earlier, we need to stand on the concrete here because it is quite slick out on the sidewalk. And this is what some of those secondary roads look like as well. Now, when it comes to that remote learning day here in Wake County, it's going to look a little bit different than it did during the pandemic. Rather than students joining a virtual meeting, maybe during a Zoom or Teams, something like that. Rather, they're going to be working out of a packet that they've already picked up, or they will be doing that work online. And teachers will take attendance based on the completion of that work. Now, we've been talking to parents, and it's kind of a mixed bag of reaction here. Of course, lots of parents still want their students in the classroom. They're a little bit disappointed by this, but other parents telling us they know in some areas across Wake County the roads are still bad and they want to be sure that everyone is safe. Now, when it comes to what the rest of the week is going to look like, the Wake County School District still has a lot of hard decisions ahead of them. They're going to be monitoring the conditions, and we will update you as soon as we know what the rest of the week will look like. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
You know, we've been keeping our eyes on the conditions on roads elsewhere as well. Some parts of Durham, in fact, dealt with slick conditions yesterday. You see this right here? This is part of I-85 where a semi-truck jackknifed. The sunlight did help a lot of the snow melt there, but areas that didn't get a lot of sunlight, though, could still be dangerous today. Keep that in mind.
We're also checking for you how roads are looking in Johnston County. DOT says crews used more than 130 gallons of brine before and during the storm. They laid down another 600 tons of salt as the ice storm moved in. DOT officials tell us that a lot of the interstates and highways are safe and clear. However, first responders are still urging caution and asking people to look out for possible icy patches this morning.
The North Carolina National Guard is adding more resources around the state to help with the winter weather response. 454 troops and more than 180 vehicles are deployed statewide, and they're helping clear the roads and to move stuck cars. They'll assist with the response until the concern is gone completely. And just a reminder, you can count on WRAL to update you on the conditions, the closures, and just how low temperatures fall. Stay connected with us on air, online, and with the WRAL News app anytime, but make sure you turn on your push notifications.
New developments in Minnesota. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino and some of his agents are expected to leave Minneapolis today. And Border Czar Tom Homan is now expected to head to Minnesota. Bavino has become a prominent figure in Homeland Security's immigration crackdown. He's recently drawn scrutiny after 2 deadly shootings involving federal agents. Most recently, the shooting death of Alex Preddy. Homeland Security says Preddy approached officers with a handgun as they were conducting an operation. They say the shooting was in self-defense. There are people who dispute that claim because video shows Preddy with a phone in his hand as agents wrestled him to the ground. And video also appears to show a gun being removed from his waistband before the shooting happened. Preddy was a licensed gun owner.
We're trying to learn new information this morning about a head-on crash in Smithfield. This happened last night just north of Hospital Road. It was a 2-car crash, and we do know at least 1 victim was pinned in the car with serious injuries. It took about 30 minutes for rescuers to get that person out of the car. Smithfield Police is investigating that crash, and we are going to try and learn a little bit more about the condition of the people involved.
A man is facing murder charges in Fayetteville after 3 people were killed in a shooting and stabbing. We also now know that all the victims are related. This happened at a home on Sumac Circle Sunday night. Sherry Smith, her son, Aaron Poole, and daughter Amanda Smith were all found inside. Investigators say Sherry got into a fight with a man and things escalated. Nigel Lewis was found with stab wounds. He is under arrest and facing charges in the killings.
Jury deliberations in the Isaiah Ross trial have been pushed back because of the weekend ice storm. Court is shut down today for the 2nd day in a row, and jurors will return tomorrow where they will decide 2 things. The first is whether Ross is responsible for killing Lyric Woods. They'll also decide if they support Ross's claim of killing Devin Clark in self-defense. The jury has the option of finding him guilty of 1st-degree or 2nd-degree murder or voluntary manslaughter, and you can count on WRAL to bring you updates when trial resumes.
Happening today, the Buddhist monks we've been following across North Carolina will be on their way to Warrenton. The monks arrived in Lewisburg last night during their walk for peace. They did not stop to speak at the end of the day because of the winter weather. They do not plan to disclose their stops today because of the conditions. They don't want people to gather. They want people to stay safe. So they say you can still track their progress online. The monks are headed to Washington, D.C., their final destination, and they're expected to arrive there by February 11th.
Also happening today, a local nonprofit is expected to break ground on a new affordable housing community in Raleigh. That community is called Forward Together, and it's being built by Healing Transitions. The goal is to create 17 new units on the organization's women's campus. It'll be for the people who are in complete recovery programs and are ready to rebuild their lives.
A grieving widow speaks.
He was so reliable, and he was an excellent father.
We spoke with the wife of a man who was shot and killed by a Johnston County deputy. Why she says her husband's mental health crisis was poorly handled.
And looking out for icy roads as we are giving you a live look from Zebulon this morning. You see that right there, the light reflecting off that ice? Keep an eye out for that this morning. We're going to check in with Ali Kadlabar, who's monitoring road conditions where she is.
And we have a cold weather advisory this morning as well. Check out the wind chill. It's going to feel like teens potentially up until lunchtime, and then it may not feel like above freezing later this afternoon. I'll show you why our pattern keeps us cold for much of the week.
And here's a look at your winning Powerball numbers: 21, 31, 51, 60, and 63. Your Powerball is 18. The multiplier is 2.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13, skies are clear, but wow, it's cold out there. 17 in Wilson, 16 in Durham right now, and 19 in Fayetteville. That sunshine and temperatures above freezing yesterday really helped out the roads a lot. But because of the cold temperatures, there might still be some slick spots out there. And boy, do you need to bundle up. It feels like 6 in Roxborough. The wind chills in the white box on the right. It feels like 9 in Rocky Mount, 10 in South Hill, and 11 in Durham, Raleigh, and Goldsboro. So again, if you have to be out there, you want to bundle up. And I know a lot of you do have to get out and walk the dog. Our temperature doesn't climb to above freezing until right around 1 o'clock this afternoon. We'll see an afternoon like yesterday, a little breezy, temperatures climbing into the upper 30s. But these well below temperatures will be with us all week, and I'll show you why coming up. Ken?
Elizabeth, weather and traffic every 10 minutes, and we've got 3 takeaways for those of you getting ready to head out this morning. Really be mindful of some icy patches that are popping up on some roads, mainly those neighborhood roads, possibly those secondary roads, and elevated services. Be extremely careful with those, and by all means, leave the house a little sooner than usual. Give yourself some extra time. Drive slowly and drive defensively this morning. We're here to keep you updated all morning long.
A Garner woman whose husband was shot and killed by a Johnston County deputy this weekend is speaking with WRAL about what happened, and she is accusing deputies of mishandling his mental health crisis. This all happened Sunday morning at a home on Madden Rose Loop. Dorleen Richards says that she called 911 to report that her husband, Anthony Richardson, was experiencing a PTSD episode and that he was armed. The sheriff's office says that deputies told Anthony multiple times to drop the gun. Eventually, Richardson says this is when deputies started to shoot.
He was so reliable, and he was an excellent father. He needed some help. I never thought in a million years that me calling them, and then 10 minutes, he'll be dead.
Richardson says that her husband struggled with PTSD throughout their 21-year marriage. Sheriff Steve Bizzle tells WRAL his deputies have crisis intervention training. He says they know how to respond to people experiencing mental health emergencies. The SBI is now investigating this shooting, and the deputies involved are on administrative leave.
We're checking out road conditions this morning across our viewing area so you can get an idea of what they're like. WRAL's Ali Kadlabar is live in Zebulon. And Ali, people need to be on the lookout for ice because of these frigid temperatures this morning.
Yeah, we're on the corner of MacTodd Road and Gannon Avenue out in Zebulon, and we've driven through this area quite a bit, and we've seen a lot of this, just icy patches as you enter a parking lot. It looks like water, it looks like it's wet, but it is definitely slick. You can even see that this napkin here, it is frozen in this ice, and we do want to show you, though, if you're out, if you're having to pump gas, you may even see some icy patches at the pumps. You can see anything that looks wet, it is ice. So just something to be aware of, especially if you're getting out today and if you're heading into driveways, or if you're heading into driveways or parking lots. Of course, we're keeping you updated on these conditions throughout the morning. Reporting live in Zebulon, Allie Cadlebar, WRAL News.
All right, it's time to talk about it. The elephant in the room. I know people don't want to talk about it, but we have to talk about this next weather maker. Go ahead and dive in for us,
That's
Elizabeth.
right. Okay, so first of all, we're going to get a lot more cold air in place. It's really cold out there right now, but we'll get another shot of some reinforcing cold air that comes in another day or so. So high pressure is going to continue to pump that Arctic air into the region. So high pressure system that's up into Canada dives southward. Around high pressure systems, we have winds that rotate clockwise. So when we see a low that's just to our west, that, of course, is a northerly flow for us. So high pressure from the Arctic comes on in, brings us rounds of cold air from now all the way through the weekend. And then we have to add some precipitation to it. It's likely that a low will develop offshore. One of the reasons that, here on Tuesday, it's difficult to say what kind of precipitation we'll have over the weekend is because this is a system that hasn't formed yet. Once it forms, the models will be able to sample it and have a much better idea of what will happen. So at this stage of the game, we do pattern recognition. So like I said, we've got that high pressure system sending us the cold air. With cold air in place, if we have a low that develops to push moisture in over it, that's a good setup for us to see wintry precipitation. Sometimes we see a pattern where we have precipitation and then the cold air chases after it. That doesn't work. But cold air in place, precipitation on top of it, yes. So models are showing the evolution of a wintry system for us. Again, we're going to be watching out for where it ends up. And we're going to take a look at some of the scenarios that it could be. And this is true for almost any situation. This happened last weekend. Low develops. If it tracks too far offshore, we don't see any precipitation at all. It takes it with it. But if it ends up riding right up the coast, that puts it just right for us to see snow. If it's farther inland, it carries too much warmth with it, and we see more of a mix, which is what we saw this past weekend. So we'll be watching for the track of the storm. We definitely have the cold air that will be with us well below average, or at least a very good chance of below average temperatures all the way through the next 10 days. So in our winter forecast timeline, we're right here right now. We look for patterns, and then is it trending up or down? The models are trending, showing it for the last several runs. So we're trending up with that, and then we'll come up with timing and precipitation types. Of course, with our last weekend system, there was so much fun all over the place. Take a look at what some folks are doing there in Charlotte. Plenty of sleet and snow there for the kids to have a great time. We saw the same thing here, and so it's possible that we would see a repeat of that across the area again this weekend. We, of course, on the go. Hope that you will download our WRAL weather app. This is our forecast, video, text, graphics to explain everything that we're seeing today and going forward. Of course, today is very cold out there. We're looking at our temperatures, very chilly. Temperatures overnight tonight will be in the 20s, and then we're down into the teens going forward.
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, Elizabeth. We're starting with I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. This is really what we're seeing this morning. Traffic is beginning to pick up just a little bit, but we're not seeing any major delays on any of those major routes, really and truly. As we look at the southern loop of the Beltline, even coming in from Garner, Johnston County, no delays whatsoever. So that's really good news. We can't stress enough. Just take your time as you're heading out this morning. As we widen out the view, no delays on I-40 eastbound, I-87 coming in from Wake Forest, delay free at this hour. You're getting ready to head into the Cartoonist Center on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, your time is 6:20 this morning. We're talking about staying prepared. A Charlotte couple welcomed a new addition to their family during this weekend's ice storm. The lengths they went to make sure they made it to the hospital safely.
A long journey home. A rare bird was spotted off our coast. Wine Animal Rehab Center is trying to make sure that he gets healthy for the return flight north.
And hey, just a reminder, if you ever see some breaking news, maybe you have a story tip or even video or pictures of severe weather where you are, as long as you can do so safely, report it to us at WRAL.com/report it.
A rare razorbill seabird is recovering after being rescued by the Outer Banks Wildlife Shelter in Carteret County. Staff says they found him with shark bites after getting a call from someone that spotted the bird at the beach. The razorbill is subarctic and is mostly seen in Greenland, Iceland, Canada, way up north. But the birds can be seen way off our shore when migrating. When the shelter picked him up, staff quickly created this enclosure for him that mimics his habitat. But being away from home can be a challenge for the bird.
They're a fun visitor, but a rare one. So a lot of times they get depressed, they stop eating. So just trying to get him to keep that weight on, because the worse off his body is condition-wise, the slower he's going to heal.
Aw, get stronger, buddy. The bird is currently on medication and antibiotics. The shelter is hoping that he will be ready for the wild soon and that there are plans to build a larger enclosure for injured seabirds.
This What's Trending report is sponsored by Call Dad AC and Heating.
A special day for the Today Show and Guy Fieri's new look.
Yeah, we got Kent Smith here to talk about it and what's trending this morning.
So what a milestone for Al Roker on the Today Show, celebrating a big anniversary. Al's marking 30 years on today. He's, of course, well known for his daily weather reports and his role in many important stories on Today.
3 decades of Al. The Today Show will look back on his career, promising laughs and surprises. You can watch the big celebration on WRAL starting at 7 a.m.
I'm sure a lot of people will tune in.
So how about this? Guy Fieri changing his appearance. You may have noticed this video he posted recently where he lost his signature spiky hair and goatee. Well, in a follow-up post, Fieri confirmed this is for an upcoming commercial that will be airing during the Super Bowl 60.
Yeah, he also teased the news of his 58th birthday. You know, people thought this was AI. They were like, this is fake.
Okay,
this is not real.
I can see why.
In their defense, this does not look anything like Guy Fieri that we know. I was like, what am I watching?
That's like
right
a guy in the Midwest suburbs, right?
Just a guy. Just a guy.
I can't wait to see that commercial.
And you can watch Super Bowl 60 right here on WRAL. Seahawks versus Patriots. The big game is February 8th. 6:26 now on your Tuesday morning. Looking out for icy spots. Some parts of our area dealing with slick roads after our winter storm. What to watch out for before you get in the car today.
We're also talking about remote learning. A majority of students locally will not be in the classroom today. What students will be doing today as that weather keeps them home.
And that weather is so cold out there this morning. Our temperatures are currently in the teens. I'll show you the wind chills to go along with it and how it will feel through the day.
Here's a look at the winning North Carolina Education Lottery numbers. We'll be right back.